Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for coming back. If you're old subscribers, if you're new subscribers, welcome, and thank you for joining the family. I am so sorry guys, I've been scarce, I've been slacking, and it was something that was just beyond my control. It was the end of the year, or end of your academic year here. So you know how it happened, you know how these things happen. End of academic year, there's a lot to wrap up. There's examinations, there's invigilation, there's reports, there's analysis, and yeah, so it's just been a lot. So I've been a bit scarce, or maybe a lot scarce, I don't know. But yeah, now we're on summer vacation and we are back. So we are going to be doing a lot of videos. I've also been feeling very tired of late. I think it's because of the the work that we had to do in the last 2-3 weeks of the semester. It's been a lot, and I was just feeling exhausted and not even up to creating content. My mind was just everywhere, but now I think I'm fine, so we can actually go back to our videos. So yeah, we are going back to talking about real crimes. I'm actually going to, just as a side note, I am actually going to introduce another segment to this channel, and this segment is called Like Dust I Rise. And yeah, that's all I can say for now. Like dust I rise. It's going to be a segment that's going to be part of this channel, but for now, that's all I can say. As we progress, as we make more preparations, as we're getting towards the release of the first video of that segment, I will definitely fill you in, guys. I'll fill you in on exactly what the segment is about. But if you just try to play around with your mind, and like dust I rise, okay, that's going to be a segment that I'm introducing to this channel. But for today, we are going to talk about real crimes. Have you ever heard the phrase Mosha Hairove? Mosha Hairove. How do you say that in English? Literally, like, you can never get away with a crime. Somehow it will catch up with you. That's what I want to talk about today. Yeah, we are going to South Africa, and we are talking about a Zimbabwean, and we are talking about a British citizen. We are talking about a South African. It's all it's a mixed bag. But at the end of the day, it's a real crime that happened, and somebody paid for that crime. Stay tuned. All right, so we are going to talk about a real crime. Just as a disclaimer, everything that I talk about on this channel is already in the public domain. I love telling stories, but I do not make up stories. That is my disclaimer right there. It's already in the public domain. And one other thing, I hope we are not going to be disturbed by a fan. Like, we are in summer here and it's super hot, so I have fans and air cons on just to try and keep the temperatures down. But yeah, I do hope that my sound is clear. I'm trying to speak as loud as possible to make sure that I'm loud and clear. Okay, so today I want to talk about a crime that was committed in South Africa in Limpopo. On the 30th of July in the year 2014, at about 7:30 in the morning, a body was discovered in a bedroom, covered, wrapped in a duvet. This body belonged to Christine Robinson. Okay, so Christine Robinson was murdered, and her body was discovered in the morning. When the police were called in, they found that she had already died. Like, the paramedics were also called, and they confirmed that she had died. And they found a knife stuck to her chest. She had several stab wounds as well. And then further investigations revealed that she had been raped and murdered. Now, she was 50-something years old. Who could have done that? So all the workers, Christine was running a lodge, a guest lodge in Tabazimbi in Limpopo. So she was running a guest lodge there, and all the workers of the guest lodge were called to the scene, and they were interviewed by the police. Only one person was missing, Imbayaro. Andrea Imbayaro. Imbayaro was a Zimbabwean citizen, or is a Zimbabwean citizen. So he is it a Zimbabwean citizen or a Zimbabwe citizen? Whatever. But he is a Zimbabwean. So Andrea went missing. He was the only one that could not be accounted for on that day. So the police called him to ask him where he was and to also tell him what had happened at the lodge. He said that he didn't know anything about the murder or the rape or anything of that sort, but he was willing to meet the police. He never showed up. Andrea never came back. Imbayaro never came back. Rather, Imbayaro is said to have hired a vehicle that took him to Bait Bridge border post, and he crossed into Zimbabwe. He came back home. He had a lot of money because it is said that about 4,000 euros, that Christine had withdrawn to pay her workers was missing. Now I'm not sure if it's 4,000 euros equivalent, or so it probably was in rand form, right? But yeah, it is said to have been 4,000 euros, and she had withdrawn that money to pay her workers. It was 30th of July. This is month end. So she had money on her. Now, Andrea Imbayaro is gone. Christine Robinson is dead. The police have no leads, except that Andrea Imbayaro is the suspect because he's the only one who's missing. Where do they find him? He's in Zimbabwe. The case went cold. Just like that. Or did it? Somebody, however, was determined to get justice. And this is Christine's niece. Her name is, I'll call her Miss Sedgson. Her name is Lahen or La, I don't know how to say that name, I'm so sorry, but her surname, her last name seems easier. It's Sedgson. So I'm just going to call her Miss Sedgson. So anyway, Miss Sedgson was determined to see that justice for her aunt was served. And she did what she had to do. But first of all, let's go back. Who was Christine Robinson? What was she all about? Let's talk about Christine first. So Christine was a retired teacher. During her lifetime, she was 59 years old by the time she was murdered. So during her lifetime as a teacher, she was teaching English in different international schools in different countries. She met her husband Robbie in Kuwait while she was teaching English in Kuwait. So they got married in 2005, and then they decided to retire in South Africa, where they remember these two are actually, the husband was from Belfast, Northern Ireland, and she was from Scotland, I think. So no, she was from England. So they met in Kuwait, they got married, and they eventually, when it was time to retire, they moved to South Africa. They bought a place which they turned into a guest lodge, and this was opposite a game reserve, so there was traffic there. I think there was good business happening there. So yeah, they were staying there, and unfortunately in 2012, Robbie died of cancer, and Christy was left by herself. And then she was running the guest lodge by herself until the 30th of July 2014. That is Christine. Okay, so that's about Christine. So after Christine had been murdered and her body had been found and the funeral was done, the police were not making any headway in terms of arresting the suspect, or at least just bringing him in for an interview, because he had left the country. Years passed, and Christy's family was just frustrated because there was no communication from the South African police, and there was just no leads. There was just no way they were going. They felt like this case had been forgotten about. Like I said, it probably got cold. So somebody decided that she was going to take the law in her own hands, or at least assist the police, not necessarily take the law into her own hands, but assist the police to have the justice done. And this person was Christine's niece, and like I said, her name is going to be Miss Sergio. Miss Sergio, oh yeah. So anyway, okay, let me call her LS, because she's Lehan Sages. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Miss LS decided that she was going to assist the police to find the person who murdered her aunt. So according to her, she was very close to her aunt, Christine, and Christine was her mother's sister. So she was her aunt. She was a close aunt. And they were almost like the same age. So they were really close. So she decided that she was going to help the police. So what did she do? She started to look for Imbayargo. In 2019, she found him on a dating site, and he was using obviously a fake name and a fake what. But I'm sure she had his photos. So she could tell that, okay, this is Imbayargo. She befriended him. They started flirting. She posed as a hostess or a stewardess. She posed as a hostess. And she told him that she was a hostess. She was always in the air flying. And some of the times he wouldn't be able to get hold of her. But she lives in South Africa, Johannesburg, because she had found out that he was now back in South Africa. So they continued flirting for a while. And then she decided that she was going to set up a trap for him. She asked if they could meet because, oh, I love you. You're so sexy. You've got sexy eyes. You've got this. You've got that. She said it made her body crawl, like to flirt with this man, knowing exactly what he had done. But she knew, she understood her assignment. She knew what she was trying to achieve. So she continued flirting with this guy. And she convinced him that they were supposed to meet. Like they had been flirting for so long. Why can't we just meet? Let's just meet. And the man agreed. So she spoke to South African police and asked if they could have one police officer, a lady, pose as her to go and meet this guy and then do like a sting operation kind of thing. Yeah. But because of the red tape that is in the South African police, like any government organization, they could not get to do this operation on time. So he got suspicious and he went underground again. He went quiet. She could not find him again. He deleted all his posts. He deleted his profiles. He deleted everything. In 2019, however, he resurfaced under a different name. This time he was called Andrew Ndlovu, and he was on Facebook. And guess who found him? Who found him? Miss LS found him yet again. Like, that's how determined she was to get justice for her aunt. Like, I applaud her. Like, she was so determined. The determination, the consistency, the perseverance, top class. So she found him on Facebook, but this time under a different name. He had just changed his name. Again, she befriended him. She started following his friends, befriending his friends, wishing his friends a happy birthday. But she also informed SAPS that this guy was back online and he was in Johannesburg yet again. But again, she didn't get much cooperation from the South African police. I'm sure they also thought she's chasing shadows. This is not going to happen. So she didn't get much cooperation, but she was determined to get justice for her aunt. So on the 6th year anniversary of the death of her aunt, Lehan said that she was crying, or Miss LS said she was crying and she was frustrated because she was not making any headway. So she decided that she had nothing else left to lose. She was just going to go public with this issue because she wasn't getting any cooperation. She wasn't getting any help from the South African police. She even said that even the Foreign Affairs was not helping her. So she had to do the unthinkable. That was like her last. She told herself, this is the last straw. If this does not work, then that's it. So what did she do? She went to Facebook and posted Andrew Ndlovu's picture with this caption, open court. 6 years ago today, this man raped and murdered my aunt Christine Robinson. Andrew Ndlovu is still a free man and enjoying his life after taking hers, close quote. She said a lot. She spoke about how she had tried to trap him at one stage, and the plan failed. And then, as fate would have it, her post was seen by the Afri Forum CEO, and he retweeted that. He took that upon himself, and he took it to Twitter, and people started retweeting it. And within 12 hours, the South African police responded to her cry, and they had Andrew Ndlovu, also known as Andrea Imbayaro, arrested. They had him in cuffs and behind bars. 6 years later. Yeah, 6 years later. So when she was interviewed after the arrest, Mrs. L.S. described how she had tried to trap him at one stage, and how she then went back to look for him again on social media and found him on Facebook, how she tried to befriend him again on Facebook, but this time he was no longer responding to her messages. Of course, she now went by a different name, but he was not responding to her messages anymore because he was a bit wary. I'm sure he was just like skeptic about anybody who tries to befriend him, anybody that he didn't know. He was just skeptic, so he was not responding to her messages anymore, which is why she then went to post him on Facebook, because there was nothing left to do. She was not getting the cooperation that she thought she would get, and she was also not making any headway. At the same time, she said she had promised her aunt that she was going to find his killer and have him brought down to book, no matter what it took. So if it took going public, then going public it was. And yes, going public got her the result that she wanted, that everybody actually wanted, like, except for Andrea, also known as Andrew, probably. Yeah. So yes, Andrew was then arrested in the year 2020, 6 years after he had murdered Christine Robinson in Limpopo. He was arrested in Johannesburg after he had slipped back into the country from Zimbabwe. So when Mrs. L.S. was being interviewed about her journey to getting the justice for her aunt, she had a lot to say, all right? She had a lot to say about government offices. Like, I could feel her frustration just by reading what she was saying. You could see that somebody was frustrated, and obviously now she was overjoyed that eventually she had gotten what she wanted, or what was right for her aunt. So this is, let me just tell you some of the things that she said during her interview. Okay? Open court. The Foreign Affairs Office were useless, and my MP was a waste of space. And I could not get any help from South African police. So I was on my own. Close quote. Again, she also went on to say, I nearly got him once with a honey trap, but the South African police could not get their acts together. And when I got photos of him, the Foreign Affairs warned me not to post on social media. Close quote. Okay, this is the last part that I felt like, oh, poor thing. Open court. I got so frustrated that on the 6th anniversary of my aunt's murder, I posted one anyway on social media, and within 12 hours, thanks to AfriForum, the guy was locked in handcuffs. Close quote. Happy endings. Happy endings, right? I love happy endings. Like, honestly, I do love happy endings. So yeah, that is the story about about how a woman went for 6 years trying to find her auntie's killer, or at least getting him arrested and getting him charged. And he got arrested and he got charged. Andrew Dlovu, aka Andre Imbayarwo, was charged with murder and rape, and he was given 2 life sentences in the High Court in Limpopo. He was sentenced in the year 2020. So he's serving his term right now in South Africa. I don't know if there is a chance of parole. I don't know if there is a chance of him getting an early release, or I do not know. But what I know is Andrew was handed down 2 life sentences for the murder of Robinson Christine, which was committed in 2014, and justice was only served in the year 2020 because her niece persisted and she looked for him until she got him arrested. By the way, Mrs. LS was not in South Africa. She was doing all this remotely. She was right there in England while she was doing all these things. Can you imagine that? I mean, that's just the power of the internet, the power of social media, right? So yeah, she did get the men arrested. Perfect. Happy endings. I love happy endings. So if she was in England while doing all this, how did she manage to like set up a meeting with him? That, of course, that foiled. So what she did is, after talking to this guy, you know, like first you're talking general stuff, and then I think Imbayarwo was getting to trust Mrs. LS, and then he started telling her that he was an electrician in Johannesburg and he was staying in Brixton. And so what did she do? She went to Google Maps and she found his location where Brixton is in Johannesburg, and she tried to find a restaurant that is just close by to say, oh, let's meet here. Oh yeah, I know that area, because she was also pretending to be in Johannesburg. So she told him, oh, let's meet at this place, and of course that foiled. But yeah, hey guys, the important thing is, at the end of the day, he was arrested. And she was saying that he was not even, during his trial, he didn't seem like remorseful. He was very arrogant, and he didn't even plead guilty at all. He was like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do it. Not only did he rape her and kill her, he also stole from her, like money, jewelry went missing after Imbayarwo had gone missing as well. So yeah, so that's the crime of the day. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I just have a couple of questions though. What would you do if it was your aunt who had been murdered? Do you think you could have so much persistence in your life? Do you think you could have gone for 6 years trying to get this person arrested, even when you're not getting the cooperation that you need from the authorities? When the Foreign Affairs are warning you, do not post somebody's pictures on social media, do not do this, do not do that, would you have persisted, or would you have just given up? What do you guys think? What would you have done? What would you have done if it was your family member? If it was somebody that you totally loved, what would you have done? I don't know, guys. Let's comment down below. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep the conversation going. What do we also think about government offices that, you know, are hardly there when we need them? Like South African police, the Foreign Affairs for her country, her MP, you know, those kind of people that we elect into offices, and then they're just not there for us when we need them. Like, do we really need those positions? Do we really need those people? I don't know. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I said earlier on, I am going to create a new segment to this channel that is called Like Dust, I Still Rise. Like dust, I still rise. Guys, please do look forward to that one. Like I said, I love happy endings. I love happy endings. So that's all I can say for now. Thank you for watching. Please be blessed. Stay safe. Stay away from crime, because if you do crime, you're most likely to do the time. I'm excited about the journey we are taking on right now, because I'm on summer break. I'm not doing anything other than just trying to find you guys interesting content, as well as working on this new segment that I'm going to introduce. So yeah, guys, enjoy wherever you are. Be safe, be blessed, stay away from crime, keep away from the pandemic. Losing one life is way too many. We don't want to lose any more lives. We've lost enough lives due to the pandemic. Let's just keep safe. Let's do what we need to do, and be blessed. Goodbye for now.